Welcome back into the Outpost 318, where we're all about becoming men that we were designed to be strong, resilient, and grounded. I'm your host, Eric Madden, and today we're diving into probably the most important quality that a man can have: resilience. And we all know that life can be flat out brutal, and it will throw storms at you when you least expect them. It can be a relationship issue, a financial setback, career challenges, loss, uncertainty. It's almost like life has a way of testing us, of throwing everything that it can at us to see if we will break. And some men do break underneath that pressure. They fall apart, they lose hope, they get stuck in a cycle of self doubt and frustration. But then there are other men, the ones who don't just survive the storm, but they come out stronger on the other side of it. They're the men who are unshakable. And I want you to become one of them. Today, we're going to talk about how you can build that unshakable resilience, a resilience that's not about just surviving, but about thriving in the face of life's toughest challenges. Let me tell you, resilience is not something that you were born with. It's not some mystical genetic trait that only a few men are lucky enough to have. It's a skill. Resilience is a mindset. It's one you can develop one step at a time. Now, what is resilience really? And when we talk about resilience, we're talking about the ability to recover from setbacks, to bounce back when life knocks you down. But it's not just about bouncing back to where you were before. That's not resilience. That's comfort. True resilience is about bouncing back better, stronger, and more prepared for what's going to happen next. And I want to share it with you. Resilience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger that it's going to get. And every time that you face adversity and push through it, you're strengthening that muscle. You're building that foundation for even greater resilience in the future. Now, let's talk about how you can actually build resilience. We're going to break it down, and we're going to give you some practical steps and things that you can start doing today to become that unshakable man who stands firm when the storms of life come. Number one, you have to cultivate mental toughness. Mental toughness is the foundation of resilience. Your mind is the battlefield where everything starts. Everything is going to start in your head. When life hits you hard, your thoughts are going to be the first thing that will either strengthen you or will break you. If you're going to be resilient, you have to develop mental toughness. And mental toughness is the ability to keep going when everything inside of you is saying, give up. It's about changing the way that you think about challenges. Resilient men don't see obstacles as insurmountable walls. They see them as hurdles to overcome. It's about shifting your mindset to one possibility that can happen. It's about shifting your mindset to one of possibility. Even when things look bleak, instead of thinking, I can't handle this, you have to think, this sucks. This is tough, but I've handled tough before, and I will handle it again. One of the most powerful tools that you have to build mental toughness is self-talk. Okay, the voice in your head either builds you up or breaks you down. That is its job. It's going to build you up or it's going to tear you down. When the storm hits, that voice needs to be the source of your strength, other than God. God is the source of your strength, but you have to have that inner voice that says, I trust, I believe, I did it before, He got me through it before, we'll do it again. You have to do that. Every time you face a difficult situation, you have to stop for a minute and ask yourself, what am I going to tell myself right now? Because here's the thing. If it's negative, you're not going to listen to God anyway. If it's negative, you're not going to go to God for it anyway. If it's negative, you got to change that. You have to flip the script, and you have to remind yourself of past victories, of the times that you made it through the hard times before. You've been through tough situations before, and you've came out stronger each time. You might not see it, you may not realize it, you might not even believe it, but you are stronger than you are 5 years ago. You just have to believe it. Number two, you have to develop emotional endurance. And let's just be honest, life can be emotionally exhausting, especially for men. Whether it's the pressure of responsibility, the weight of relationships, or the toll that happens when you have an unexpected setback. It's easy to get emotionally drained, but emotional endurance is the key element of resilience. The resilient men aren't immune from their emotions, and that's far from the truth. They feel everything deeply. But what I've learned is how to manage those emotions and not be controlled by them. Because when life hits, they feel pain. They feel the frustration. They feel the sadness, but they don't let it define their response. Being emotional, having emotional intelligence and having emotional endurance starts with self-awareness. You need to recognize when your emotions are starting to take over and how you can regain control. You feel yourself start getting mad, rein yourself back in. One practice that I recommend is to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now and why? Because we have a habit of mixing our emotions up. If we're sad, we think it's anger. If we're depressed, we think it's frustration and anger. Get clear on the emotion while you're experiencing it. Don't ignore it. Don't push it down. Don't let it dictate your actions. You've got to acknowledge it. You've got to process it, and then you can move forward. Another key to emotional endurance is acceptance. There's going to be some things happen that you just got to be like, well, okay, that happened. Resilient men accept the fact that life is full of ups and downs. They don't expect smooth sailing all the time. They accept that storms are going to come, and when they do, they know how to keep their head. Instead of reacting impulsively, they pause, they reflect, and they respond. Number three, you have to strengthen your spiritual foundation. I know a lot of guys who say, I can do this by myself. I don't need God. I don't need help. For me, and for a lot of people listening, your spiritual foundation is the bedrock of your resilience. Your faith is what holds you steady when everything else seems to be shaken. When life gets overwhelming, it's faith that reminds you that you're not alone in this. Faith actually helps you see beyond the present struggle because you know there's a promise coming, there's a victory coming, there's a blessing coming. Like we see beyond. It reminds us that we're part of a bigger picture and that God is with us in the storm. In fact, His strength is probably the most powerful when we are at our weakest. So when you're facing something that you can't handle all by yourself, that's when you need to rely on God the most. When you're facing something that you can't handle, you need God. You need brothers. The key to spiritual resilience is trusting God's plan, even when you don't understand it. Because I can promise you there have been plenty of times where I had no idea what God was doing, why He was doing it, or how He was doing it. But I knew I had to trust. Because resilient men don't turn away from their faith when the going gets tough. They lean into it. They dive deeper into prayer. They dive deeper into scripture. They dive deeper into fellowship with other men who can help encourage them. And that's why we made the Outpost. Number four, you have to take action in the middle of the storm. And I'm going to challenge you here. I want to challenge you with this. Resilience isn't just about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about acting in the storm itself. When life's toughest moments hit, most people freeze up and they wait for everything to calm down. But resilient men do not wait. They keep moving forward. Even if it's just one small step at a time, a step is going somewhere. Even in the hardest times, you have control over some things. I can't control everything. You can control your attitude. You can control your mindset, and you can control your next steps. Whether it's taking care of your physical health, reaching out to someone who can help, or putting one foot in front of the other, action is the antidote to fear and inaction. Start small. You don't have to be this. You don't have to do these giant leaps. Start small. Do something, even if it feels like a tiny step and it's stupid and it's pointless. Take the tiny step, because that action will build momentum, and before you know it, you're going to start to be pushed forward again. You see, resilience isn't something that just happens overnight. It's a journey. But every time you face a storm, you have a chance to build it. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You're not going to have all the answers right now. And as men, we hate that because we are programmed and built to be problem solvers. What you need is the strength to keep moving forward and to trust the process. And to do that, no matter what comes, you are unshakable. So yeah, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Outpost 318. If you found something valuable here, I encourage you to share it with a friend who could use a little dose of resilience. And as always, if you haven't yet, be sure to check out the Recalibrate Men's Retreat for an opportunity to connect with other men and build resilience. You can check that out at outpost318.com/retreat. There you'll find all the information. You can sign up. The retreat will be happening in the fall of 2025. We just have to get enough guys together to get the space. But we do have some that are signing up now. So yeah, spots are filling up. We are limiting this to 20. So this will be the first retreat that we have. 20 spots are available, and they're running out. So yeah, until next time, stay strong, stay faithful, and remember that resilience is built in the storm. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next time.